Hello there, welcome to the Football Bloc. My name is Brandon, and today we're going to go over Euro 2020 and look at all the quarterfinal matchups and see how my predictions went. If that sounds interesting, let's hop right into it.
One step beyond.
Alright, so the Euro 2020 quarterfinals has ended, and as you can see, I am out of European national team jersey, so I'm going to have to go with European club teams. But anyway, the semifinals are now upon us, and we have all the results for the Euro 2020 quarterfinals, and I'm going to go through and see how my predictions went. And first, we're going to start off with Switzerland versus Spain. Now, this match was a pretty tight match. I think Spain were, the better team overall and deserved winners, but they ended up going through on penalties after it finished 1-1. Now, my predictions, I predicted that Spain would overcome Switzerland 3-2 on goals. I thought there was going to be a lot of goals. I thought that Spain would control majority of the match, but then kind of lose their composure late on, and then Switzerland was going to grab a few goals back, but ultimately Switzerland would not have enough in the tank to overtake Spain, considering how much effort they put into eliminating France in the last round and how tough their group stage was, really. And ultimately, I was pretty spot on. I was right in all of that. The only thing I got wrong was the amount of goals. Now, Spain did dominate majority of the match. The first opening half, Spain, they really should have scored more than one goal. They were playing great, and then they played well for, maybe the first 10-15 minutes of the second half, and then they kind of just lost their composure. They've done this every single game so far this tournament. And then Switzerland, even though they look very tired, their legs look very heavy, they still push forward. They still push for a goal, and Shaqiri got yet another goal for his national team to tie it 1-1. It went into extra time. Switzerland didn't really have many chances, but Spain couldn't break the deadlock, and then it went to penalties. Spain overcame the Swiss. The Swiss, again, I think fatigue really affected everything here, including their penalties, because they had some pretty poor penalties. Spain deserved winners, even though it was a tight match, but my prediction there, not too bad. I got the result right, even though the scoreline wasn't right. But on to our next match, we have Belgium versus Italy. Now, this was a match, clash of the titans, as I like to say, and I believe that prior to the game, I believe that Italy would have won 1-0, and Italy won 2-1, so same goal deficit, but just one more goal for each team. Everything in my prediction pretty much happened, with the exception of the fact that I said this game will be decided by individual brilliance. Now, there was a lot of individual brilliance on this team. For example, Lorenzo Insigne, beautiful goal to make it 2-0 to Italy, but I feel that Italy won not just because of their individual talent. In fact, it was the opposite. It was, the Italians were great as a team going forward. Both Belgium and Italy threw everything they had at each other. I was correct in predicting that, and that these two teams just went head to head. But I think when it came to pressuring the other side, both of the teams did it well. But the Italians, they really pressured that Belgian back four, and the Belgians couldn't handle it. Italy scored 2 goals in the first half. They had another goal that was chalked off. They had a few chances here and there that were really close, but then they took a 2-goal lead. Lukaku scored his 4th goal just before halftime to make it 2-1 with 1 goal for Italy. But ultimately, into the second half, Italy had the advantage, and then they kind of just slowed the game down, and then Belgium had no answer for that, and Italy go through to the semifinals as very deserved winners, even though Belgium didn't play all that bad. I did say that whoever would win this match, in my opinion, would end up winning the whole tournament. I still stand by that. I still think Italy are going to go through the semis and the final and win. But this Belgian team, you can say that it has been a little disappointing. They played, throughout the tournament, they were one of the better teams. But again, this is Belgium's golden generation, I feel like this is probably their last chance to win a trophy. I mean realistically, who knows what will happen at the World Cup or maybe even the next Euros. But realistically, especially when you look at that back line with Vertonghen and Alderweireld, how old they're getting. He's already gone. Of course, he's like Hazard. He's going through some injury problems, but his brother Torgan Hazard's doing well. De Bruyne is still doing great. Lukaku as well. So who knows? But ultimately, if you're a Belgian fan, I do understand if you feel disappointed in that Belgium has gone far in each of the tournaments, but you always feel that they hit a ceiling that they really should be breaking through. But Italy, though, this is the first time we're seeing an Italian team in a long time that is seriously good and seriously living up to the reputation that they have. And honestly, I'm happy for them. So anyway, on to the next match. We have the Czech Republic versus Denmark. Now, this one, I'm pretty proud of myself here. I got a perfect prediction. I said that Denmark would beat Czech Republic 2-1, and Czech Republic lost 2-1 to Denmark. So there you go. It was a perfect prediction. Denmark, they carried that form over, that motivation over from their last 2 games. They scored 8 goals in their last 2 games. Now that's 10 goals over the course of 3 games. They're in flying form. They're all motivated. They're all fired up. But Czech Republic proved to be a much tougher opponent than the last 2 teams. As expected, Patrick Schick scored his 5th goal of the tournament. Now, I don't think that it will be officially the top scorer because he's tied with Ronaldo on 5, and I believe Ronaldo played in fewer games and had an assist if they take that into account. I'm not exactly sure how the rules are if we're deciding the Golden Boot. But either way, Patrick Schick had a great tournament. Czech Republic had a great tournament as well, considering that most people thought they would just be cannon fodder in the group stage, and they ended up making it all the way to the quarterfinals. Now, I do understand if there's Czech fans who feel a little hard done by, considering the first goal, which came off a corner, which should not have been a corner for Denmark. But at the same time, Denmark were the better team, especially in that first half. They were by far the better team. But credit to Czech Republic. As I said in my predictions, they will exit the tournament with their heads held high, and in reality, they do exit the tournament with their heads held high as they impressed a lot of people. Now on to the 4th and final match of the quarterfinals. We have Ukraine versus England. And my prediction, I said that Ukraine would lose to England 1-0, but it would be a pretty straightforward result. Now, I was right in that it was a straightforward result, and England were the better team, but I did not get the amount of goals correct at all, as Ukraine got blown out 4-0 by England. Now, the first half, Ukraine wasn't all that bad. England scored first, and Ukraine even had a few chances to score. But into the second half, I got to be honest, I was really disappointed in Ukraine. They just gave up after that second goal. That it just felt like they had nothing left to give, and they just laid down as England steamrolled them. Especially on that 3rd and 4th goal, the marking was just atrocious. So on one hand, I'm disappointed, but on the other hand, you have to look at this Ukrainian team and say, hey, no one really expected them to make it this far. The fact that they made it all the way to the quarterfinals is already an achievement within itself. And not only that, but they went 120 minutes against Sweden in the last match. So the guys are very fatigued. So, it does make some sense that they kind of collapse a little bit in the second half, going up against a team like England who just completely nullify you and just really grind you down. So England, even though I have been a little wary of England going forward throughout the tournament, saying that, even though they go through to each round, I'm a little skeptical about saying that the tournament favorites. This game changed my mind a little bit in that they played really well. I think this is their best performance out of any game at Euro 2020. Granted, it was against a relatively weak opposition, but still, you don't choose who you play against, so you just got to play the opponent in front of you, and England played really well. I still think Italy are going to win the whole tournament, but I do think England will make it on to the final. So anyways, guys, that has been my predictions for the Euro 2020 quarterfinals. I'm pretty proud of myself. I got each result right. I didn't get the scores right for 3 of the 4 games, but I got every advancing team correct, so I'm pretty proud of myself there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like these kinds of videos, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Brandon. This has been the Summer Football Fest presented to you by the Football Bloc. Hope you guys have a nice rest of your night.
One step beyond.